Do you see how the differences between what you must have experienced compared to, say, your male counterparts?
Heck yeah. I'm sure no one's like, hitting them on the butt, kissing them all in their ear, on their neck, making hotel rooms where their room joins theirs. And you're like, what the hell? Afraid of your security guard because he's throwing you on the bed, all kind of stuff. You start your cycle and you still have to go perform. You have fibroids and you can't stop bleeding, but you still have to perform. Then you marry a narcissist or, whatever, he's jealous. His manhood is a question. He's tired of being Mr. Howard or whoever, you know what I mean? It's a lot. And then you can only fight so much. And then you get pregnant and you can't do anything but have the baby. And, you're down for 18 months before you can get back in the ring. It's not. And then, you're challenged all the time. But then, if you stand up for yourself, you're a bitch. And if you don't stand up for yourself, you're still a bitch. You're just a stupid bitch. And then you got to get the bag. You got to get the bag. Ooh, you're responsible for the bag. You got to get the bag. This is too much.
I was really disappointed because I really loved that album. I thought that album was great. But you just have to keep it pushing. And, I started touring. I went on tour. I opened up for NSYNC. Went on a big tour with NSYNC and got to open. Wow. Yeah, you just have to when stuff like that happens, then you just have to, stay positive and say, okay, what's the next thing? Let's keep it moving, because I was very down. And in the beginning, I was like, oh man, I really love this album. I don't know what happened. But so I started touring. And then I'm like, okay, let's start on the next album. And then I got pregnant and I got married and the label let me go while I was 5 months pregnant. So yeah, so I was like, and I got a phone call saying, yeah, they're just gonna let you be a mom for a while. And I'm like, I want to have my baby, but I don't have to sit down. Like I can still sing, like I still have my voice, So that was really tough time for me. It was really tough.
From your own experience being a female in the industry, how challenging is it compared to your male counterparts?
Well, let's say this before, because I'm letting her thoughts are brewing. Thank God that we have such a wonderful hands-on management team in Marvelous Entertainment. So we have Martin McIntyre and Loretta McIntyre, and they act as a huge buffer, if you will, in between what could easily go wrong. We, come up against some instances where, and I don't know if it was because, that's just brownstone, or if it was because, we're three women, where we were challenged during, one of our sound checks. Wasn't a good feeling, wasn't a comfortable feeling. But, I don't know if it was because he was a male, he got a little bit more extra time and we got pushed to the side or what. I don't know, but
because he didn't look like Adele, so it had to be that he was a man. No?
Yeah, I don't know, but there are instances, and I would just say, if I had to go back to a conversation that we had in the studio a few weeks ago, just as a woman in the world, yes, industry, but just in the world, this is one of the things that we were, trying to shed light on. We have to be cautious of how we move, what we say, how we say. It is always picked apart. A man can stand on a platform or get on his soapbox and talk from, here until the time gets better. And they'll probably give him just a couple of check marks. Let a woman do it. And she'll have check marks from the top of her speech to the ending. So yes, in this industry, we have to be aware and conscious. You know, we would love to just open up our mouths and say some things and speak on things that are unfair. However, we have to do it, or I should say, we have to choose our battles wisely.
Mhm.
Wow. What it is about the music industry is that it attracts the Western people.
It attracts evil.
That
There's
they
an
just,
underbelly. There's an underbelly in the music business, you know, that people don't talk about. There's a dark side to the music business that people simply do not talk about. And, you know, recently there was a young lady who came out talking about she was exposing people and exposing details about the music business, Miss Jaguar Wright. I don't know Jaguar Wright. And I don't know that I've ever run into her. And I didn't realize that she was one of the original members of The Roots, I think.
Yeah.
Sure. And she was exposing everybody, which I didn't know if what she was saying about the people that she was talking about was true or not. But then she started talking about things that happened in the music business and that she was aware of. And I knew those things to be true. Like I knew firsthand that those things were true. And so to me, that kind of gave some validity to the other things that she might have been talking about.
Yeah.
But you know, I had been approached by people and invited to parties that I went to, but because of my covering, I didn't get pulled in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I was at the door of the dark side.
Yeah.
But I never crossed the threshold.
Yeah.
And I have to believe that I had guardian angels protecting me. I really do believe it. I do. To this day, I believe it, and I believe that I was preserved. You know, a lot of people that I saw trying to get there, trying to break through, especially the girls. They get used up.
Yeah.
And then they will get us. They might even get all the way to the point where they think it's just about to happen, and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then it's over forever. And then that person is ruined. And then the music business spits them out.
Yeah.
And then go and finds the next one that that will service the room, if you will.
Yeah.
And you know, if that girl doesn't do it, then she's out. And the next girl, because there's always somebody who's willing to do anything to get it.
To get in.
And you know, and when I say anything, I mean anything.
Yeah.
You know, the crazy thing about that is that okay, we wrote on the album. They were like, all right, go on to write. Guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna slip a publishing contract inside the record recording contract that comes 2 in 1. You know what I'm saying? Which came with us. We had the publishing contract and recording together. And we gave up our publishing for $1. Like, who the hell gives an advance for $1? $1. It said it.
What do you mean you gave up? What does that mean?
You give up your rights, because when you sign a publishing deal with a publishing company, you have to give them 50%, whatever the deal is, of whatever you do, and they give you an advance. And usually you have to make enough money back to pay that advance back before you get back into, you know, getting your, you know, monthly dues or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But if they only give you $1 for an advance and they already immediately taking your publishing, they just getting money for free. Because how much money you got to pay back? What, a cent? So we didn't have any money that he gave us because you're like, you know, like the people who gave us, you know, who helped us record the album, they got a publishing deal for $150,000. You understand?
Wow.
$150,000. We got a publishing deal for $1.
Wow.
That's how jacked up that contract was. And to even know that you're screwing somebody in that sense is just really just disheartening as people to me. Like, you know, we only live one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We only live one time. Why do people make it so hard for someone just to enjoy life?
Yeah.
Or to just make it, I mean, come on, why do we even fight to stay in homes? Like, a home is a necessity. Food is a necessity. Cars really is a necessity. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's normal that you should have in order to make life go around, right? But for whatever reason, people try to just take everything away and see what can you make out of this dirt to get you down the street? Like, you know, no one wants to extend a helping hand to even be fair, to be like, all right, everybody deserves a place to freaking live. Everybody deserves freaking water. Are you insane? Everybody deserves food. Like, what the actual freak, yo? It just makes me so angry when it comes down to just the selfishness of human beings. You know?
Yeah. So that was the case, and I think Shanice said the more they knew, the less the labels wanted to deal with them because they're like, oh, you know too much, so we're gonna.
I was just about to say that about what Shanice just said. I was about to say that, and that's the thing that happened with me. I was the one that knew a lot, you know, and I spoke my mind. So when you speak your mind, there's going to be things that stuff's going to start getting stripped away from you, stripped away from artists, because we started knowing too much. Because I went to college. I'm like, wait a minute, I might not know the business, but I'm smart enough to know what's being said.
Yeah.
That makes sense logically. This doesn't. Yeah, my common sense, and I would speak on that. So that was something that, you know, things, because you know too much, like Shanice said, you're not going to get everything like the one we probably would have even been bigger if we was like yes people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we weren't yes people like that. We needed to know, because and so, you know, back then they think you a bitch, excuse my language, you know, they don't respect people when, like, women. It's not fair for women. So I love these women today who's able to, because I was speaking out like them, but we weren't getting the respect because it was limited women doing it. It was masses of women that speak out now.
Yeah. Wow.
It's just too much. And then everybody, when they do like Britney Spears or they crack, you know, even Mariah Carey had to break down the unity. What do you think is going to happen? It's pressure. And then you're pitted against the only people that can be on your side. They pit you against each other. You need another woman that knows what you're going through, you know, that can say and guide you through these things. And then you make the friends, and then people come in between that and try to make jealousy and strife and things like that, because there's always peaks and valleys, feast or famine, you know, and someone's always doing better than the other one. And then, you know, the family of these people who do not a damn thing always have stuff to say, like, oh, that person isn't this or isn't that. They just want to be around so you can help them. Help them do what? Most of these artists don't have the confidence to go to the bathroom alone. They don't believe they have any power to change anything. That's why they never help each other. If you say, wow, why didn't you put me on that? Because they don't think they have the power to say, I want to do my show and I'm going to bring an opening act and this is who it's going to be. You know, they don't think they have the power. They don't have the power to say, I'm going to make this movie and I'm going to use my friends. You know, Eddie Murphy was the best at that. And even then, you know, your friends betray you because they never had anything and they think, you know, they got it too easy. It's not easy in this business. Your friends, your family betrays you. You know, I'm going to call and tell all of the AP what's going on here. You know, like, then you get broke. You have all of this shit around you, you know, Louis Vuitton, this and that and the other. You can't get $500 for a purse you paid $5,000 for.
Did you have to sign with Sylvia Rona? Was she around at that time?
What? She was the CEO.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I said. Yeah, of Elektra.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes. I got in trouble because I used to always call Sylvia, you know, to tell her about what Keith was doing that, you know, wasn't really good for us. And I'm like, you know, we signed to a record deal, but we can't work. Like, we're going to get kicked out of our house. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? That joker told us to get a job and take MARTA, which is the city bus to work.
Is this before the album came out?
Yes, this is when the album was out.
Oh. So you already had a hit single with Get Up On It out there.
Yes, we had a hit single, we Get Up On It. And then Keith wouldn't allow us to make money and you know, tour us, or, you know, because he was our record company. So it's like, give us some artist development, get us on some shows, something, you know what I'm saying? To you know, and he just didn't do any of that. And then they went on tour, Keith went on tour, and then he took Athena with him and didn't take me and Levon, you know? And I'm like, excuse me? Like, how the freak do you take one person and not, I mean, what the fuck? It's stupid as hell. Like, it made no sense. And so you start division and dissension and animosity. You start all of that stuff when you do stuff like that. and you expect people to figure out how to pay their own bills. But then you got background singers singing our songs on the road. I mean, it was just dumb. It was dumb when it came down to the thought process of a business-minded person. It was more personal, stupid shit like that. That's how I feel. That's just basically what it was, because it made no business sense whatsoever.
Because if your album's already out, so I would have naturally thought that you guys would then be introduced.
Yes,
so that
you do everything. And if we're your artists, then why the freak when you take us everywhere to promote us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what normally people do. Freak, you sign somebody if you're not going to take them and promote them. If you're not going to, you know what I'm saying, let the group tour. He was more dedicated to Silk than he was Cut Close, you know what I mean? So it was just whack. We didn't understand why. We were just like, what?
Right.
Personally, I mean, on reflection, how did you take that and what was it like?
I didn't take it well at all. Like, I literally, I cried a lot. And I was really sad. My husband is an actor. So, you know, after we had our baby, he was, you know, he would get up every day, go shoot his show, go to work, you know, he's still living his dream. And I just felt like everything was taken away from me. I felt really sad, like really, really, really sad. And I was like, I didn't want to be in the business anymore. Like, I felt like just giving up on the industry. And then I remember getting on YouTube, and I had this one fan that was so encouraging. He would put up all these videos of me and just like speak like really good things about me. And then the videos was getting all these views and everything. And I said, you know what? People obviously want to still hear me sing. Is when I told them I was pregnant, by the time I told them I was pregnant, I was like 5 months at that time. So when I got that message, I said, I only have 4 months left to go. I'll be in the studio for the next 4 months recording. Nobody's going to see me pregnant.
Yeah.
So I just didn't understand.
Did you get do you get a personal phone call from the president?
Yeah. I got a phone call from an executive, and he told me, he said, we think you're extremely talented, but we're just going to have to let you go. And I'm like, huh? So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, the system is built on, you know, a white male dominated structure, power structure, you know? So, and then after that, you know, white women, Jewish women, Italian, you know, non-Black, I'll say, okay? Because I haven't done the statistics and I don't want nobody to quote me, but non-Black. And then you have this structure where men get a certain amount of credit after, you know, the non-Black. When we start talking about Black, we start talking about Black men having lots more opportunities, right? In entertainment, music, every area. And then there's the LGBTQIA community that has all these rights and, you know, opportunities, right? And Black women who are the backbone, for lack of a better word, for so many, not just households, but corporations. You know, we are caregivers, as we mentioned earlier, for our parents. And it trickles down into every area of entertainment and media. I'd always been told to shut up and sing. I'd always been, you know, I remember, you know, back in the 90s, I was labeled as difficult because I asked questions. I was labeled as difficult because, you know, I didn't allow things that I felt were not fair, you know, to go without at least acknowledging that. And to this day, I think people in this industry have labeled me as difficult because I am one who you can't piss on and tell me that it's raining. I'm 52 years old. I'm somebody's grandma. You know, I'm a whole woman, and I've been in this industry and I've paid a lot of dues, and I've had a lot of really awful, terrible things happen in my life and career. And I've remained with the ability to still be optimistic and positive about creating art and opportunity. And I use those lessons as opportunities to teach future generations, because I think the mistake is that we get really caught up in where things are now, how things have been for us in the past. And we forget that, you know, it's like the person who is leaning into their pain and their trauma, right? Something that happened to you as a child is a horrible, awful, god-awful, traumatic event. But you can't allow that trauma to continue a generational curse in your family and in your life. And I think that what I've learned in the process of making this new album, and before even making the album, deciding, you know, to do music again, I've had such a love-hate relationship with music because of the inequities and the lack of real, tangible, viable resources to make a living from this. You know, when you look and you see Tory Lanez did a record with your voice on it and he got 800 million or close to 800 million spins on it, and you still have yet to see, you know, a check for your voice being on something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a blow, right? But you can either take that blow and decide to quit, or take that blow and, like Tisha said about choosing your battles, choose to fight Goliath, you know, with a mist, right? Or you can figure out how to put that trauma, that pain, those lessons into art, how to advocate for other people, how to position other people to win, you know, and it is always going to be a fight. We as Black people are fighting in this country for the very basic respect. So a Black person in entertainment is no different than a Black person who works at Kroger or automotive company. We're still seen as second and third class citizens in America, no matter how much we contribute to the wealth in America. Michael Jackson was the biggest entertainer in the world, and he complained about it. Prince was the biggest entertainer in the world, and he complained about it. You know, so we're not crazy, but some of us have had a hard time getting past the hurt and the trauma that this industry has caused artists. And then there are those of us like the women in Brownstone who are determined to use these obstacles as stepping stones and really push forward initiatives that allow future generations to do better and to have more equality. And I hope that these record labels and these record companies out here understand the fight isn't going to stop. We are not giving up. The fight is not going to stop. So it's time for us to have a real dialogue about how to make it more equitable and fair for everybody.
You know, we all know that you're married to Flex, and you know, I remember watching One to One. I went to college in the US and stuff, but I didn't realize he was married to you until later on. But you know, he was
married
for how long?
We've been married for 21 years now.
Wow.
Yeah,
2000. Yeah, that's. I mean, should at that point though, how does family?
Sorry.
Okay.
My phone rang. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's probably LaFace come to say sorry.
Oh no. I would love that.
What happened I was expecting the next album because the 90s.
Well, we were working on the next album, but then they tried to do some crazy stuff, and so they broke up the group. And then they tried to replace two of us.
What do you mean they tried?
Well, obviously Keith.
Here?
Obviously
Okay.
Keith then, yeah. They tried to replace me and Levon because I was a troublemaker, because I wanted what was right for Cut Close, and they get rid of the people who's got the mouth. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. Those are my girls. You know what I mean? I brought everybody to the situation. I brought everybody to Keith. You know, I got us the deal, and to try and dismantle it in the way that was very disrespectful, because people want to have their own voice, or to try and stop from being abused in a certain kind of way when it comes down to your career. You know what I mean? So it wasn't really nothing where it's like, oh, they're a problem. I was like, no, we just want what was for real. Like, yo, are you kidding? You signed us, but we can't even make a life. I mean, you can't complain about it. Otherwise, you know, well, get rid of them. What? So one time I was on my way home, and then I heard that they were looking for new members of Cut Close on the radio. And I was like, what the hell? Yo, you know, I was heated. So they tried to replace us, and, you know, and Athena was in on it to some extent. You know, she was there with the other girls. And I'm like, how the hell? Like, you supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that was a dark moment. And it lasted for about 10 years, you know, just disconnecting. You know what I mean? It never transpired. And then Athena went solo, and her album never came out, you know.
See, well, you guys, you know, 4 young women, especially having this big song and all looking attractive. How
Bring
much
women in spandex.
Yes, that's Dex as well. I mean, it must have been, and especially within the industry, who's protecting you guys and who was keeping you guys safe in you know.
That's a whole other show. And it's in my memoirs. Our mother was something else. Like, she actually was a gorgeous woman. She was a splitting image to Dorothy Dandridge, my mom.
Wow.
She was a shrewd businesswoman in a good way. I mean, here you got 5 daughters, and 5 because we have a 5th daughter, and my 5th sister. My closest sister. She's a retired educator, in Carol. And Dick Clark used to call Carol the closet sister, because whenever Debbie was on maternity leave, Carol would step in. Debbie was on maternity leave like 6 times, so Carol was always there. And if you Google us, if you look at YouTube, you'll always see, there's Carol. You see lots of performances with the 3 of us or with Carol. And lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, no, just protecting 4 young women within this man's world.
yeah, but I think our biggest protection, honestly, not to sound cliche, is God was always before us and behind us, and we were very blessed in that case. And our grandmother, like our grandmother, our grandmother was, who's gonna mess with your grandmom sitting?
Yeah.
And I know we did, like, we had such a huge genre of diverse audience that we would actually maybe for 2 months open for Rick James for the whole
Rick James.
And you want to know something? He was always the utmost gentleman. Like, he loved my grandma.
What did you miss the most during after, because I can't imagine though how hard it is.
It was hard. It was definitely hard. It was hard. I went from traveling the world, being on tour, to just home. I'm just sitting at home. I have a beautiful new baby who I was so thankful that I had my baby, but I just could not, I couldn't travel anymore. I couldn't, I couldn't, the touring and all that just stopped. Everything just stopped.
Wow.
It was really hard. And then I'd get up and my husband would go to work every day, and he's still living his life. And I'm like, why can't I do the same? Like, why can't I live my life too and still have our baby? Yeah. So it was hard.
I mean, a lot of us also hear about what here in the UK, postnatal depression and how challenging that could be, and and I don't know how a challenge as a new mom then thinking about my careers taking instead of celebrating my baby and everything.
Yeah, I did it postpartum. I was very, very depressed. I could not stop crying. I'm like, I'm so happy. I'm looking at her beautiful face. I'm like, I'm so happy I have my baby. I just could not stop crying. It was really sad. Yeah. But like I said, I went through that for a while, but then I snapped out of it. I said, you know what? I still have my voice. I still have people online saying they want to hear me sing. I can still sing. Like, I can still tour. I can still, put out my own music. And that's the one thing that I love is there's a good thing about the industry. And I mean, not the industry.
You think it's easy? You think that people want to do this forever? Even Cardi B, who's at the top of the food chain right now, is making videos about, I just want to be a mom and a wife. Because no matter what, when you're a woman, this is too much pressure. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. And then they put you against the person that can help you, another woman.
Yeah. As I said, it's something that I've had to reflect on more and more recently, and just can't imagine the challenges that women, especially Black women, because I know that there's a disparity with white artists. They seem to have better recording deals, better budgets, better promotion and support, so they seem to have a lot more
around them, but then there doesn't seem to be any support network for our Black female artists, because if you cry for help or ask for help, then it seems as if, okay, you know, we can get rid of you and get somebody else and stuff. And especially if you had advice for up and coming female artists now, what would you sort of
make sure this is what you really, this is from your heart. Make sure this is in your soul, in your DNA, in your blood. Make sure that this is what you really, really want to do. And don't give up your life to do it. You know, don't let it make you feel like this is everything, you know. Give a demarcation line. If by 30, I haven't accomplished this or that, I won't neglect my life. I won't neglect my womanhood. I won't neglect that I want to have a family or don't want to have a family. I won't neglect, you know, that I will build a community that will support and love me through my ages, through my, you know, 10, 20, 30 years. Don't neglect that. Because if this is really for you and really that something that God has, you know, blessed you, ordained you to do, you will do it. You will do it. Yeah. You will do it.
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, it's so true. Like, I love the platform that you have, because we don't get a chance sometimes to express what we're going through. You know, artists. Can't speak for all the artists.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that kind of.
And somewhere in between
us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
Trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No, okay.
They understand what Jonas boys and men all
play it.
I mean, I love all different genres.